quiet on the set.
There's nothing in these. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Alright, so it's me, that's Serena. Once again, you already know. We're back with episode number 2 of the podcast, and we have a special guest here. Go ahead and introduce yourself, special guest.
I am affectionately known as Tata, Serena's older aunt, Tasha.
Older.
A little bit. But older, yes.
Is that all you are? She is Auntie Tasha. Tata. She's a mother. She is a trendsetter. She's a solo dater. She goes on solo dates.
I do. I go on. Listen, I enjoy life. I enjoy myself. I enjoy being out and about and doing things. I'm a beach bum. Certified beach bum.
I was like, it is. I love the ocean.
Let me tell you something. It is on my LinkedIn profile. That's how much I love the beach. Like, it literally says like beach lover, beach goer on my LinkedIn profile. I'm telling you, that's all I do.
Yes, she loves the water, and the water loves her back, and her sons as well, and me. That's why she's the first guest on the Tipsy Talk. So yeah, I told my aunt, I'm starting a podcast. She said, great. I said, yeah, come over. She said, all right.
Okay.
She's actually a day early. So yeah.
I don't know. You said come here. I'm here.
Correct. And so yeah. So today, y'all know I already told y'all in episode 1, I like to freestyle the podcast. I don't like to sit here with a notebook and an iPad. Like, I want to keep it real formal for the guests. You know, they come over here, they get tipsy, and they just yeah. All right. So that's what we're doing. So, on my topics that I wanted to talk about, well, I did touch on the first episode that I was in therapy. So, I wanted to talk about that with you because I know you're also in therapy.
When did we start therapy?
What?
When did we start therapy?
I told you this in the hospital. And you were like, oh, yeah, I have a therapist session too.
Yeah, I have two therapists. Let me tell you, I have a psychiatrist and a psychologist. I have a therapist who is just what I call talk therapy. And then I have one who I call... She prescribes my medication, checks in to see kind of how things are going with my talk therapist. So yeah, you did tell me.
I did. I said
because I had a therapist appointment.
We both had appointments on the same time.
That's right.
Yes.
How's it going?
Oh, I liked her. At first, I changed it because the other one it didn't feel like. I used Talkspace, okay. So I felt like she wasn't like. If I didn't set an appointment, I felt like she was never going to say anything. Right?
Okay.
My other one is if I don't book an appointment, another session after our last session, she's hitting me up the next day like, are you okay? What's going on?
So you're saying she, so obviously you're female, black or white?
Yes, black.
Okay, even better.
She reminds me, she looks like my other aunt. I'm going to name drop it. She looks like my other aunt, heavy set. But I was like, that's interesting. But yeah, my first one, she was skinny and light skinned, and she just didn't care about it. She didn't care if you used the app or not. So I was just like, okay, let me cater to myself. Okay, and then boom.
How long have you been seeing her?
2 months now.
What do you feel like there is a kind of like a benefit that is coming out of like your sessions?
I feel like yes.
Okay.
Because at first I didn't want to do it because I just felt like okay.
Really?
Yeah, at first I didn't want to do it, but I talked myself into doing it because I could recognize that I carry other people's situations as my emergency, and I really want to work on that this year.
Okay.
Because my dad used to always say, don't make other people's problems your emergencies.
Listen,
and I hear it echoes all the time when I do it, and I can't stop doing it. So
I'm telling you.
She holds me accountable with that, and she helps me see like what triggers my anxiety or what keeps me up at night if I start tossing and turning. Like I don't even think about these things, but obviously internally I am thinking about it. So that's what she's talking to me about now. And she like she sends me brochures after conversation about like what we discuss, stuff like that, and that's why I like her.
Okay.
But yeah, she'll ask me a question, I'll answer it, thinking I'm just answering it, but then she's like,
hey,
okay,
let me tell you why you said that. Yeah. Listen, I have And I do have that struggle. So I've had the privilege of being very cognizant of my own mental struggles and issues. Mm-hmm. And I've probably been very well aware of that since. So I had your cousins, Lordy. I had my first one I was 21 when I had him.
Mm-hmm.
Had the second one at 22.
Mm-hmm.
So I've probably been in therapy since I was about 23 because his birthday's in June. My birthday's in August. So I turned 23. So I was probably in therapy probably in less than 6 months after having him because I had postpartum.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and I was glad for the fact that I was able to recognize that I was having a problem, right? Like I have
Did
no
it feel
problem.
different than your regular? Did your postpartum depression feel different than your normal?
Yeah. And I struggled really bad. Postpartum, I struggled really bad with the first one, with the second one as opposed to the first one, right?
Okay, yeah. You have two under two.
Because I had 2 under 2, right? So I'm young and I am looking at my life at that point in time. This is almost 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking at my life and I'm just like, this is not where I thought I was going to be or what I thought I was going to do. And so I realized that my depression, because I've suffered from depression or things dealing with my mental health or surrounding my mental health for years.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of it comes from what you could probably understand. Mm-hmm. Like I'm my mother's firstborn, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So I have this certain standard and expectation that I have to be and live up to, mm-hmm. right? And my mother wants me to be a certain way because then you obviously know like we're island, so mm-hmm. there are certain things that my parents, my mother wants me to do and be like, right? Mm-hmm. In comparison to the type of person I am. Again, like the fact that I told y'all that like being a beach lover is on my LinkedIn profile. I do. I'm trying to retire at 45 and like live in my van on the beach.
Yeah,
and that is
to be a nomad.
That's all I want to do. I want to be a nomad. I just want to I want to see the world. I want to, even when I die, I'm going to be cremated and I'm going to be sprinkled. You guys are going to have a yacht. Yep, all the time. All the time. I'm going to be sprinkled. Like we're going to have a yacht party. You guys are going to celebrate me. I'm going to try not to be late to my funeral. And you guys are going to sprinkle me in the ocean. And then I get to visit all the beaches that I've not yet been to see, that I've not yet had the opportunity to see. But the issue with that is that I then have a parent and family members who are like, but we want you to do so. We want you to be so. And I'm like, I run. So where I wanted to be versus where I ended up being, and still to this day are still very much so in opposition of each other. So I know that my depression that I was dealing with, like starting college and being like a quote unquote adult, mm-hmm. and then turning around here and having kids very early, and my postpartum, I could tell the difference between the type of problems that I was facing mm-hmm. with it. Mm-hmm. And so for me to then go ahead and be like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and get help for my postpartum, which kind of helped with my depression overall, was very beneficial, even though the postpartum help that I received was not helpful. Mm. And that I think is also a really big thing. Like even you saying like my first therapist didn't work, right?
Well, most people quit at that point. They don't go and try to find a different one.
And the thing is too is like I tell people all the time, you say to yourself like, oh, I don't like for example, like I drank this and I was just like, oh, I think I might like this. It might be the little blend that I did too.
It might be the blend. It was a little tampered, but it's sweet.
But I tell people all the time, like, I don't really drink. Like, I'm not a wine drinker.
Oh, I am.
Really?
Yeah, like, I go to wineries.
So I will go to a winery.
Oh, yeah.
And I know what I want.
Oh, I love Chateau.
Oh, listen, but it has to be all of this. It has to be all of this. It has to be all of the sweet ones.
Yes.
I don't drink anything that's like dry.
Me either.
I don't get all of those.
But the sweeter it is, the higher percent.
But see, that's also, I also drink, even when I drink liquor. Like, so I drink Long Island, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of liquor.
But I'll put grenadine in it to make it sweet. Or I'll, instead of having Coke, I'll switch it out with pineapple juice or Sprite.
Yes, I do that. Or a Red Bull.
To make it sweet.
Yes.
So I already know, like, much like I know what works for me liquor-wise, right? Yes. I know that I don't like certain things like on my burgers, or I don't like certain things at brunch time, or same thing with therapy.
Yes.
I know what does and does not work for me. This person has to be kind of this way. You have to ask questions, or I have to think that you're, even within the realm of you asking questions, it is leading us to another place. If I feel like you're just...
don't be condescending.
And do not check boxes. I remember I was struggling so bad. 2022, but it's been weird because I've had some really, really big highs and really, really big lows lately. And I remember back in 2022 for the vow renewal, during that whole like time period leading up to it, I was dealing with some things professionally, which is what I'm trying to get through and work out. But I remember I had a therapy appointment, and it's like he's just going through checking the boxes, and I'm like, I felt, and I said to myself, and I said to everybody who'd ever asked me or whatever, if he had really said to me, "Thank you," oh yeah, there wasn't enough in there to not be killed. But if he had said to me like, "What's going on?" I would have given him 6-minute rundown, and he would have been like, "Oh, I checked 12 out of these 15 boxes just from her venting.
And that would have made you feel better instead of going by.
And so it's just like, I'm just like, yeah, you know, like I'm really struggling at work. And it's just like, okay, what is your biggest struggle at work? I'm just like, I feel like I'm not being appreciated and I'm not getting, you know, financially compensated for it.
Why do you feel like you're not appreciated?
And I'm just like, dude, instead, if you would just let me go.
Just keep going.
But guess what? Instead of me taking that opportunity and saying like, he didn't listen, they're not paying attention. And I really was very excited about that particular
session.
Even therapists. And the reason why is because, so my PCP was at Emory. And it was a collaborative. So like basically Emory did like a collab. So whatever I'm doing in therapy, as long as I obviously check the HIPAA box or whatever, whatever I'm talking about in therapy, my PCP could then look at those notes. Yes. And in that way she could, and it makes it so much easier. So then when I come back in for a regular annual visit or a whatever checkup, she's now seeing like she's already got this. So I was super excited about that whole thing. It didn't work out. And rather than me being like, and I say it to people all the time, stop throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Stop saying that just because this didn't work doesn't mean that it doesn't work overall. Therapy is like everything else. Like, I'm not going to be in a relationship and a relationship doesn't work out, so then I'm never going to date again, right? Just because I went to this restaurant, I tried this wine, I went to this thing doesn't mean that I'm not going to do other things either. Yes. So the fact that you're like, oh, this therapist wasn't checking all the boxes, didn't do what I needed her to, wasn't where I wanted her to be, doesn't mean that therapy is not a benefit for you. Correct. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why I'm just like the therapist, right?
I had to decide that on my own.
And you also have to figure out, why is this therapist not working for me? Is this therapist not working for me because we together are not a good fit? Is this therapist not working for me because they're taking too much of a heavy-handed approach or too much of a lackadaisical approach?
I required more attention than she was willing to give.
Yeah. Which happens too. Listen, I very much so be on my princess treatment sometimes too, and I do feel like my therapist, both of my therapists now my medication therapist, she and I are a lot better just because of the fact that we've been together for so long. I don't need as much kind of hand holding, but in the very beginning when I first started to go see her before she put me on meds, I was like,
"Where have you been?" Like,
but I called you yesterday and you didn't answer. She
literally,
was like, but you have an appointment today. Yeah. Baby, I don't even need to call me. I was going to see you today. I didn't need to call you back. I wanted you. So it was a very much so like a working relationship, like everything else, like work, relationship, everything else is a working relationship. And so I do appreciate the fact that I have these therapy sessions. Like I probably talk to my therapist, if not once a week, then probably every other week. Yeah. And I'm very, right now, only because I kind of have like so much good and bad, but I have so much going on right now.
Same. I'm like,
that I'm just like, yeah, like where
they're showing me the songs. I'm like, where can I put you?
The best part is that like even for me right now with my therapist, it's funny because I just went to a Galentine's Day event the other day when we had the baby. Yes. And I went after, like I left from you all, and we had a whole conversation. And I told everybody, I said, the thing that I'm like most proud of myself for like these last couple of months, like 6-ish or so months, is the fact that I recognize that I have been struggling really bad for a variety of reasons, personally and professionally. And I was able to talk through with my therapist and explain to my therapist just how poorly I am doing mentally, to where she was able to hear me validate my feelings, and she actually took me out on, I was on short-term disability for completely out
during Thanksgiving.
Yeah, for 2 full months. Just I did not go to work, and I had the ability. Like there were days where I literally just sat in my house and cried. Like I just like lights off, nothing but me and my tears and my conversations with myself. And then there were other days where I like went outside and I like stared at the sunlight and I cried in the sun. Right? Like,
that's not something I thought.
I still cried. Oh, make no mistake, there were tears. There were tears.
No mistakes.
But the fact that she heard me, and I said this to people. The reason why I really like that therapist is because she validated what I was feeling. She said to me, which I think a lot of times Black women end up, and she and I talk about this all the time because I do have a Black female therapist. We end up in this conversation to where it becomes, you just gotta tough it out. Like it's just a season. Like you just gotta. And I tell people all the time, I said, baby, I am soft, right? I'm a prince. Again, I want to live on the beach, y'all. So I don't understand. Like you can't be miserable at the beach. I've never seen anybody like dads maybe when they have to like pack the whole family up, and drive everyone to the beach, and make sandwiches and put the tent up. But then once he gets all of that stuff done or whatever, he over here happy throwing the damn frisbee around with the children or whatever, playing beach volleyball with the kids, right? Nobody is miserable at the beach, and I live in this world in which I am always at the beach, right? Like it's 40 degrees outside today. I wore flip flops.
It was actually pretty warm before it started storming.
Also, because it rained all day today. Before that. So, but I wear, like that is like kind of my MO. That's where my mindset is, and so for me to then be in a place to where it's always stormy, where it's always raining, where it's always that. My therapist saw that, she recognized it, and then she was just like, you know what happened? I'm gonna let you come out, and pulled me out of work, and sorry,
okay.
And then it became more so about me saying, this isn't it, right? This personally isn't it. This professionally isn't it. And I think that, especially because I've been struggling so much professionally. When Black women have always been told and taught that, oh, well, you just gotta make it through, right? Like, and on top of that, we don't get to, there are I feel like there are, even as much as we talk about it, there are very few moments where people are comfortable and okay with there being carefree Black girls.
Carefree, yes.
So,
or the kind that just do whatever they are told, and they just don't talk back because they're worried about being labeled the ugly Black woman or the angry Black woman. Excuse my dog, y'all.
It's Simba.
She's a lot. She's very reactive. I'm working on it. She needs therapy. Okay, my dog needs therapy. But go ahead. I know y'all can hear her because these are some good headset. Microphones.
We said, what are these?
It's gonna pick it up. Yeah, where are these? Dots. Yeah. So another topic I wanted to discuss was dating with children. Right.
Okay.
I would like to know, like, what is your viewpoint with that? Because I don't have children, but I'm always so interested in like my friends who have kids wanting to date, or like just people I know who have kids and want to date. Now your kids aren't little. Like, they're not gonna be like, oh, is this what you got? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
listen, my kid told me, the oldest one, he told me, he said 3 strikes you out. Okay. Get him a dad. You had another boyfriend. You broke up with the last one. That's 3.
Oh, so he don't want to know more.
So
he don't want to meet nobody unless you're coming with the ring.
I don't even know. He said he don't care, and I'm just like, well, what? I said, but then this will be like my grandbabies. Another 5 years. Like this will be, And he's just like, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. He's just like, you ain't gonna have a grandkid. He's like, because you ain't having a grandkid, you better play with somebody else's. Like pick somebody else's kid up.
Got plenty to pick from.
So he's very much so just like, I don't care anymore. I think that being very upfront and honest with what you want is one thing. And then also being upfront and honest with this person that you're potentially interested in seeing, right? So, for example, mines are older. that does make things a lot easier for me, because I'm not like, hey, I know you want to go out, Thursday night at 7 o'clock, but I have a award ceremony, basketball game, blah 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 blah. I don't have those same kind of like time restraints that somebody else might have
because they're grown.
because they're grown now.
But what about before they were grown? Did you struggle with that?
I think because of the fact that I chose the route to be very honest, I'm like, I am a very involved parent. Mm-hmm. So what happened is I was with their dad. Their dad and I broke up. Their dad and I were not together for a couple of years. I was single and mingling. I then started dating somebody, and I told him, I said, I am a super duper involved parent. Even though I share custody with the children, I was not living with my kids for a time period full time with them. Mm-hmm. I was very clear, like, hey, I am not going to be free this weekend because I'm going home to go see my kids. Mm-hmm. When my kids come back to live with me, these are the expectations that I have. I was extremely fortunate to where when I started dating the boyfriend at the time, mm-hmm. he and I were together. I told him, I said, I want to be as involved as possible with my children. He actually was just like, I got you, no problem. We don't one hand washes the other. You want to be a full-time mom? I was a stay-at-home girlfriend and full-time mom. I was a room parent. I went on field trips. I put papers in envelopes for the kids. I was at the school. I was a mom, right? And then I did whatever I needed to do as far as my boyfriend and help and support around the house or whatever. But I was very clear with him, and I was just like, if we are dating, cool, it's no problem. I have no problem giving you X amount of time, effort, energy, attention, affection. Just know that they will always come first. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's not a problem. Even I do feel the need to say that I feel like sometimes women have this problem where they're like, oh, well, I have to either be all in with my man or all in with my kids, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily
what is that balance like?
So I do think that there is an ability to have a balance, right? Mm-hmm. I used to have standing dates with my boyfriend. So I would be like, hey, kids, you're going to go stay with the neighbor. You're going to go stay over at your friend's house. You're going to go do whatever. I am making my relationship a priority tonight. And I do think, but just overall. Okay. And I was very just for example, we used to do this thing where we used to love watching The Amazing Grace. So the four of us would watch The Amazing Grace. The kids would come and jump into bed with us, and we turn Amazing Grace on, and we'd watch an episode or two.
And that's y'all bonding.
And it's the four of us bonding together. We'd have dinner together. We would sometimes go to the movies. He would do things separately with the kids that I wasn't privy mm-hmm. to. He'd take them to the park or play football or things. Because I have two boys, so he would do boy-y type mm-hmm. things, yeah. Right? Yeah. And so what I think ended up happening is I was very clear about I am still going to be a mother, but I can still also be a woman. Mm-hmm. I can still be a girlfriend. So I was able to. I was very careful about playing certain roles. Mm-hmm. And careful probably isn't the right word, but
meticulous.
We're gonna take what we got, what my brain is giving you. So I would be I am mom. I am cooking dinner. I am taking them to practices. I am room parent. I am all of those things, little kids. I got 15 kids at my house. I got a damn Pontiac Sunfire, and somehow or another, I got 8. I took 8 kids to track practice. I would either pick up or drop off to track practice twice a week, and 15, 20 minutes from my house. 8 children in the Pontiac Sunfire, because I am a mother. Yeah. And then I would take all these kids home. I drop them off. I take my kids home. I feed them, and I used to say, feed them, bathe them, right? Mm-hmm. And 8:30. Y'all gotta, I don't care what you do, but you got to stay in your room. Mm-hmm. Don't tear up nothing and don't burn this place down. And I'm sitting on the couch and I'm don't start watching you watch Game of Thrones. I'm like, bro, we did that already.
Okay, you relax.
You're late.
I'm just not watching it.
You gotta get
it together. Y'all judge me, you might as well unsubscribe because I'm trying to catch up.
She's so late. She's just I don't understand what's going on with him.
Breaking Bad last December.
I did not watch Breaking Bad.
Okay, so
I know. Listen, let me tell you.
So now you can't
we're also going to have this conversation when I come back, I don't watch TV like that, right?
Well, me either. It's why I have missed everything. I watch YouTube. I watch TikTok.
I don't have a TikTok account. Right,
yeah, which is crazy to me.
I watch
she sends me reels all day.
Like, hey, did you see this? I watch her. I watch her. I watch my other niece. I watch my sister. Like I don't watch no reality TV. I tell people all the time. I said I don't do drama in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Not even for entertainment purposes.
I'm yelling at Game of Thrones, and you're like,
I'm like, I don't understand.
Why would you watch this for pleasure? It's actually torture.
Oh my God, Game of Thrones. Let me tell you something. Game of Thrones had us in a chokehold. But I would tell the kids. I would be like, yo, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30. It is grown-up time.
Mm-hmm.
And I also made that very clear because guess what? I gave them a portion of me.
Yes.
I'm giving my boyfriend a portion of me. And then I would look at all of them and be like, hello.
Now it's time to give Tasha a portion of me.
I will see you later. Like, I would hang out with my sorority sisters. I would run or whatever type of like social and physical activities that I would do certain things that were for me. Mm-hmm. But I never sat up here and I wasn't like, oh no, baby, like you're the most important thing ever to me in life.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that with the kids. I'm not like, oh my God, you guys are my bread and butter. Like again, my anticipation is that my children are going to get big and grown, which they are now, and they're going to be wonderfully respectful and polite and like well-mannered people who are going to wander off into the world and have girlfriends who become wives and they will have their own families. And I cannot sit here and be like, but my children are my whole world. Mm-hmm. Because they are. But if I only live in that place and space where my children are my own world, are my whole world,
because when they go and make their own world, then you'll be lost.
Then I'm stuck, like, I'm stuck in the world, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like in the weeds, like, oh my God, but pay me attention, but give me this to get
hate those kind of limits.
And I can't do that. I can't, like, listen, like, I hang out, like, it's so cool because I actually have had, like, opportunities to spend just, like, a couple, like, not, like, hours or whatever, but, like, a couple of minutes every week or so hanging out with both the boys' girlfriends. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool, okay, all right, baby, but I gotta go. Like, oh, what can we do? Like, like, for example, my oldest, his girlfriend, I'd be like, hey, can I borrow her real quick? Like, I need to put my earrings in and take my hair out. Mm-hmm. So she'll, like, help me unbraid. Like, I went on a date, like, a month ago or so, and she's, like, unbraiding my hair while I'm, like, putting on my lipstick. I'm just like, this earring or this earring?
That's great.
Like,
daughters.
All right, cool. Daughters I never had. Between y'all, and
then, I just some shorts at the store.
Oh, listen, me and the youngest, we be like, we be vibing.
Like, what's going on here?
And listen, it's so fun because they're both. It's funny. So both of my sons' names, they start with M. Both of their girlfriends' names starts with K. So I'd be like, me and K2, me and K1, like, we be vibing. I'd be like, oh, this is so fun. We're gonna go shopping. We ready to look. Me and K1 went to like Goodwill one day. I was like, I need a dress. Okay, forget it. I have something at home. I'll just wear the same thing. Whatever, let's go. Like me, because I am trying to set the tone of you all are not, while my kids are my entire world,
you have an identity outside of that.
Very much so.
How do you feel about, what was I going to ask you? I forgot what I asked you. No, you can drink your concoction. Y'all should put tequila in this wine. Talk about so she want to put, and she's doing it again. Y'all can't see. You see where the hand is low, right?
I just want to make sure there was a napkin down there. How does she know there's not a napkin down there?
I get warm. I don't know how I'm getting warm. No, I'm getting warm. It's gonna be a little warm. I forgot what I was about to say. Oh yes. Okay, here's a scenario for you.
Okay.
So you're in the car with your man. You go to pick up his mother. Are you getting in the back seat or is she
immediately?
You're getting in the back seat?
Excuse me. Hi. Hey. Well, I'm so good to see you, girl. Go ahead, sit with the baby. Go ahead. Let me sit in the back seat.
Really? You are?
Chilling in the back seat. I am stretched
out.
Are
you waiting for him to say, can you get in the back seat?
No.
Or are you just jumping out?
I'm immediately in the back seat.
Interesting.
Girl, I'm in the back seat
before
he pull up.
My aunt to say.
I'm in the back seat before he pull up. Girl, please, I'm so tired. I don't even. Listen,
I'm so tired. It's so rude.
I'm so old. I don't even want to be a passenger princess or whatever y'all call them. I'm a backseat baddie.
I would wait to see what he said.
Baby, I'm a backseat
First of all,
baddie.
I should have this conversation before we. I'm fine with being in the backseat. I just want to know how you would handle it.
Listen, I'm a backseat baddie like this. Like, listen, he's just like, oh, we gotta go get my mom's, and I listen before we even get there. I give him my seat immediately. You get in the car with me and my man. No, listen,
I would give it up.
Let me tell you, if I call my man and I'm just like one of them. If I call somebody and I say, hey, we gotta go pick Arena. Hey, we gotta go get like my girl is coming to town. Like, oh, my girlfriend's flying in or whatever, and I'm just like, hey, we gotta go get her. Before we pull, like, I'll be on the phone with her and be like, what gate are you at? Like, oh, come to N1 or whatever. By the time, because he's driving, by the time he's sneaking up to N1, I've already crawled in the back seat. I'm not even opening the door. I'm in the back seat.
Bro, what are you right in the front seat with your nigga?
Go ahead, girl.
No.
Why?
No.
Listen.
Now,
her, my mama, my brother,
yes.
Go ahead.
No.
I don't care.
If it's his sister, I'm staying in the front seat.
Are you crazy? Why?
Oh, absolutely.
I see. And I think it's probably because of the fact that I'm just like, why?
First of all, if I'm already in the front seat, I'm not getting out the front seat for his sister.
The way I stretch out in the back.
That's not the point.
No, but that's the reason why.
That's not the point.
Let me tell you something.
I understand what you're saying. You're comfortable in the back seat. That's not what I'm saying.
But it's because of the fact that it's not like I'm taking. See, so I think that this is the thing. I'm not taking a back seat to anything, right? So
I'm not the point. That's not my point of why I'm saying this. What I'm saying is, who comes first? That's what I'm trying to get.
But I always come first.
Correct. That's why you're just jumping on your own accord.
Always and in all ways do I come first.
That's why you're jumping out on your own accord, Tata. But what I'm saying is, if he says at his mouth, hey, can you get in the backseat for my mom? You see her face? Okay, now you see her face now. But before it was, I would love to give up my seat.
But the thing is too that, but I think it's because of the fact that he, no matter which he it is, right? Because I can sit up here and I can immediately be like 1, 2, 3, like it's at least 3. The people that I would even bother, like this conversation would even be a thing for me. He already knows how like easygoing and laissez-faire.
But this is how I am with this current relationship, right? I am.
Yeah, real.
Because there is no problem. Whatever, my man. There is no problem. Okay, but he don't need to tell me to get in the back seat.
You can't tell me.
No.
Hey, don't. So this is a thing though too. I think that he would have already, one, you and your current, but then me and how I am. If I'm to the point to where we're doing stuff like that, he already knows me. He knows my attitude. He knows my response to things. He knows my personality. He knows like my vibe on things. Mm-hmm. Why would you, first of all, why would you open your mouth and tell me to get in the backseat, bro?
This is what I'm saying. If you tell me to get in the backseat, I'm no longer moving. I'm now to the seat.
Well, the reason why is because it's like, did you not think? Now it becomes like a different type of conversation, right? And because of the fact that I'm having these conversations, why did you tell me? Did you think that I wouldn't? Like, for example, if we're going to go pick up your mother from the airport, did you not think that I would know to get in the backseat because your mother is coming, right? Did you not think that I would go ahead and have some type of like deference because your sister is getting picked up or whatever?
Yeah.
Did you not know? So like,
or like, what's some regular routine? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if we always pick up your sister, she's always in the backseat, and then we go pick her up from the airport, you tell me in the backseat, we now have a problem. But if this is your little sister and she's just getting in the car, then I'm saying.
But see, this is also like, for example, like let's say,
and I'm getting in the back seat.
But even that, but guess what? Hey, guess what? 9 times out of 10, your mother's gonna be like, "No,
what are you doing?" Yes, and we'll be arguing about who's staying in the front seat
because that's a whole thing. But it's also in the dynamics within the relationship.
Also true. Yes.
I'm also not gonna ever put myself. So, for example, the boyfriend that I was with when the kids were younger or whatever, I probably would not have gone with him to go and pick up his mother from the airport because of how his mother was about me.
Okay, right? And this is me with my last relationship.
Yeah,
before him,
I'm like,
I would be at home. You can go get your mother by yourself. Yeah. Why am I even in the car for this?
Why do I need to go?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Why am I in the car for this pickup?
I'm not even be here when you get back with this lady.
Okay, that's what I say. I'm going to sleep at my dad's house tonight. Where is she staying? Does she have a
And she's
hotel?
staying here. Because, we only got 2 bedrooms here. Like, me and the kid. Like, does she know I live here?
Who's sleeping on the couch
More importantly, who's sleeping on the couch when she
Forget the car
leaves? Because who's sleeping on the couch when she leaves? Because
who
I
invited
feel
her?
like...
Because who invited her? Let me know.
She never came here.
So that is the problem. That is the dynamic
6.5
before
years.
the pickup.
Never came here.
No. No. That's another thing. You talk about 6.5 years. How long? We were talking about this before.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this before we started filming. How long is too long to date before you get married? As an adult now, I'm not talking about starting high school.
Right.
You're meeting somebody now. It's 2024. How long you waiting?
That doesn't count because I'm too old now.
That's not true. There's no such thing.
I'm too old now. So let's go back.
Okay, my age.
How old are you? I don't know. You're a baby.
I was not lying earlier when I told you my age.
You're a baby. I don't know. You and
I'll be 28 this year.
Yes. You can't be.
Yes, I am. I will be 28 this year. 96 is my birthday.
I started high school.
I know. I told you we're not that far off.
Golly.
Yeah, bro, you were 12 years old when I was born.
Not even 4.
Bro, yes.
You'll be 28.
Yes.
14 years. I'm 42 this year.
Yes. That's
close. 13. I was 14. No. So either way,
well, mine is in October.
When I was 28, I was dating.
You started a new relationship at 28.
I started a new relationship. Listen, I started a new relationship in 2009. Right?
How old were you?
I was 27. I love that. It was 5 years ago. It was nice.
It's 2014, is it not? I mean, Yo, the way I said that so seriously.
So confidently.
And I graduated high school in 2015.
You said it. You said it with no hesitation.
Why did you make that face? I graduated high school in 2015. I'm old. So I graduated 10 years ago.
I got a secondary degree. I started in 2009. I started dating somebody in 2010.
Okay.
We broke up in June. We broke up like Memorial Day of 2016 or so.
6 years.
6.5 years. We were together good 6.5 year one. One, he used to say that he was not diametrically opposed to marriage.
What does that mean? I hate a gaslighting nigga. What does diametrically opposed mean?
So
break it down for me. That's what I would tell him.
That he wasn't.
I said spell. Spell that.
I need some sub points. I need all the explanation.
I need to know how many syllables.
He was not necessarily opposed to the idea or concept of marriage,
but you'd rather be common law married to me.
Because that's when I tell you, after 6.5 years, like we moved in together 3.5 weeks into our relationship.
That's normal.
And
look at me.
Don't
let me give you advice.
And stayed, like, we lived together
for those 6 years.
We started dating, like, our first date was January 13th of 2010. We were living together by the Super Bowl.
Y'all, that's February. That's right before Valentine's Day.
Right before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Definitely before Valentine's Day. And there was like a 2-month time period where we basically did not live together, and it's only because we were transitioning. Like, he moved here to Atlanta first, and then I came after.
This is my story.
Or whatever. And then we were together.
Is my story. We lived the same life, just parallel universe.
Yeah. Just different. Yeah,
because I got married.
You made more sense. You probably picked better. You made probably better.
That didn't make more sense. We dated for 6 months, and I married him. And I was living with him by month 2. No cap.
Yeah, not with that one, but I had 2 babies earlier before that. Okay. So yeah. So
but that was before that. It's not like you had his 2 babies.
So that's even worse. So I went ahead and picked up. Look funny here. I picked up some man. So I had a baby. 2. Then I had another one. The first one wasn't enough. I had another one.
Yeah, you doubled it. Yeah.
And then it was just like, oh, okay, well, whatever. And then ran off into the world. And then I got with somebody else. And then I was with that person for 6.5 years.
That's good. That's a good stride. I mean, to have 2 kids by the same man now.
Yeah,
got to be.
Oh, listen,
don't do my auntie.
Got to be.
You have.
We were engaged, and we were going to get married, and then we realized at a certain point in time that we were. And you know what? Again, it's one of those things where now that I'm older, I'm realizing I'm seeing certain things. Part of the issue was that we were, and it's not the age, it's not the blah 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 blah. Part of it was just the fact that what I wanted and where I wanted things to be, he was not ultimately who I actually wanted.
Right. It was going to be you settling for it based off your situation.
To be with, right?
Correct.
There was somebody before him that I wanted.
Yes.
Still want. Really wanted.
I knew
you know I was going to say that. Really wanted. And it didn't work out. It didn't work out the first time. It didn't work out with their dad. It didn't work. Things don't work out, right? And I think that, so to roundabout answer your question is, there is no timetable to figure out.
I disagree.
But let me tell you, but yes and no.
Okay.
In my 6.5 years, at a certain point in time, I realized that this was probably not going to be a forever love.
Okay.
Not to say that we would not love each other forever, because we still do. I talked to him earlier today. Since I've been here, he called me.
Because that's a lot of time.
Because we love each other. We have a mutual love and understanding and respect for each other.
That's correct.
Right? We are good. We are really good friends.
You are good life partners.
We are good life partners.
Yes, I understand.
He is somebody who I am going to, like, if I were to actually be buried, he could carry my casket.
That's correct.
We are friends. We are to the core.
That's correct.
Friends. We are not relationship people. Mm-hmm. With each other.
Yes.
Right? Doesn't mean that he's not a good person. Doesn't mean that he does not deserve happiness and to be with somebody else. But I realized after a while that what I wanted in a relationship, in a partner, in a marriage, in a forever situation, and it's not because he was a bad person. It's not because I wasn't deserving of it. It just wasn't. And then neither one of us at the point where I started to realize it, and I think it's because of the fact that, like, the kids were involved. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of other things kind of going on. The undoing of the relationship would have been too much work. And that's the reason why the relationship sustained itself for as long as it did, mm-hmm. even though the relationship itself was not sustainable.
I can relate to that. Mm-hmm. Without the kids part.
Yeah. So, like, I held on. Not because, and I would have we would have stayed. I could have still. It's been we've been broken up longer than we've been together now.
Yeah.
Right. And still talk to each other at least once a week. And so I don't ever. I can't necessarily put a timetable or a time frame on saying I gotta be engaged by this point. I gotta be married by this point. I gotta be this. I gotta be that. I know people who met and got married within 6 months, mm-hmm. and have been together. Crockett's probably been married like 11, 12 years now. Like, just, she's like, yeah, I met him when, like, I don't know. I remember being in a Ross one day, walking around, and she calls me, and I'm like holding the phone. You know, this is like a gazillion years ago, and I'm holding my phone, and I'm like going through the clothes, mm-hmm. and she's just like, I met this guy, and I'm like, okay. She's like, I'm gonna get married next week. I said, okay, wait, hold on, wait, hold on, wait, hello, what? And they've been married ever since. Mm-hmm. 14,
sometimes
I think,
you just know.
13, 14 years.
Yeah, I thought that was my story, but this is another thing, like what you touched on. I didn't think, like, when I was going through my divorce, he would say things like, he would gaslight me, like, no one's gonna deal with this, like stuff like that. In my relationship before this one, he would do the same thing, like every time I would try to leave. And so that used to eat away at me, and that's what made me say, oh, okay, I kind of probably need therapy, because, like, yeah, they will feed that into you, and then, like, you catch yourself kind of minimizing,
having the same responses.
Yes. And
yep.
That doesn't even count for it. Like, I'll say something, and then he'll react so minusculely to it, and it'll trigger me back to what somebody else said, and I'll be like, okay, was that too much for you? Like,
yeah.
You know, and I know that I started.
I know that. So, like, for example, I keep telling people now, like, as I'm getting older, I know, like, I can see somebody, I can interact with this person probably within the first 2 months. You give me 2 months and I can look at this person and I could be like, this is somebody who I see the effort of doing the hard work for, but they also see the effort of doing the hard work for me.
That's
right?
Correct.
I never told anybody that I was easy. Yeah, right? I tell people something. It's funny, I'm a very simple woman, right? Like I'm real, like, I don't need like Louis Vuitton bags. I don't need like, fancy cars. I like to eat good. I like to go places.
This is what I say. Like, this is how I explain myself.
Yeah, I
drive a Honda. I'm good with my Honda. Yeah. I want regular gas.
Listen, girl,
when I want to go eat. Not me with minivan. I don't even eat. Not me with minivan. I don't even like steak. So like, just take me to go get pasta. And I'm like happy. You can take me to lobster and pasta. Forget that. Forget the lobster and pasta. You can take me to Golden Corral and just let me pay out real quick. Listen, and I am. Don't even worry about it.
But I'm also the person that's just like, like I want to go to like Africa. Someone just texted me. It's like they're trying to go to Africa.
No, because I was like, we should go to Egypt.
Yes. So, but I'm also like the person that's just like, but babe, like, have you been to Egypt yet? Because I'm trying to go.
Yeah. But so I'm also the person that's like, we could just go to the beach.
I'm very I'm simple within my complexity, right? Like I'm complex within my simplicity. Like however phrase you want to use it. And I recognize that and I know that about myself. And if there's somebody who can see the myriads and the multitude and the facets of me, and they're just like, we can get through it. We can figure it out. We could whatever. And I have somebody who is very much so like that with me. And then I also have somebody who, and I've had several people who have been like, that's weird.
Yeah. And I've had several people like, okay, you asking for too much. And I'm like, okay, go. But you won't start DMing me though. You won't start DMing me, but I'm like, too much. So like, which one is it? Because you're intrigued. Because you keep coming back.
And that's the whole thing. Right? It's just like, you don't.
Y'all, do napkin again.
I need a napkin. Because it's warm. Not a napkin. It's warm. But that's the whole thing. So finding the people who can tell when you're upset, even when you don't say a word, that's what you need. Or the people who are just like, I'm having like I've been texting somebody and I'm just like, yo, like I'm having this moment or whatever. Like since the 18th, like I've been having this like moment like these last couple of days, and it's just like, I get it, I understand, I hear you. I know that I can turn to a person in particular, and be like, this is the moment that I'm having or whatever, and they're just like, I got you, I hear you, I understand you, cool beans. That also tells me that those are my people, right?
Yeah.
And those are the people, relationship-wise, friendship-wise, that I'm like, those are where I can kind of lean on. I can turn to, I can figure stuff out. I don't want to ever, especially now that I'm older, I am not the type of woman, because you mentioned earlier, like at the very beginning of this hour ago.
Yeah, thing, I was like, I don't know what we're doing.
Right? Hour ago thing is that I'm comfortable going on solo dates. Right? For example, Valentine's Day, I went out by myself. And it was beautiful and it was sad all at the same time.
I hate those moments.
And when I tell you, like, it was so, like, I went to go see this cover band.
Okay.
Band I Do. They did cover songs of Sade songs.
Oh, okay.
Right? So
nice song.
On, like, a few days before that, I had gone to go see the ATL Collective do Sade cover songs as well. So, like...
I did it twice. Well,
two different
events that
but
you just happened to
I love Sade.
Okay.
Right? Like, I love Sade. Like, Kiss of Life, Church Today. The show Church Today, y'all. season 1, we gonna have to circle back.
Focus.
I need you to watch that.
We need a part 2
episode. That series, like
this
season 1
of
Cherish the Day, and then like we got to circle back to that. I need to see somebody else who watched it
part 2
and see what they feel about Cherish the Day. So anybody that saw that, comment and subscribe and write the words. I don't know. Write the words.
Write the word cherish.
Say the words and then be like, cherish today, right? But either way, Sade is like, I love Sade. So I go out on Friday and it's beautiful. And I'm like texting my friends and I'm just like, yo, I don't care what anybody got to say. This moment right here, if I could live in this type of moment, it's every single moment about this thing is beautiful, right? I had the most amazing time. Right, I looked good. I felt good. I was out. Like I drank. I had all the things. I went out on Wednesday, a few days later, to go see the cover band, and it was just as beautiful. It was just as nice, but I was by myself, and I was in that moment. And I don't have a problem with solo dating. I go to eat by myself. I go to drink by myself. I go
brunch.
I am
concerts.
Listen,
podcast lives.
No,
and I know because I'm on Facebook.
Listen, I flew all the way to outside the country to go see Beyonce. Like when I tell you, like flew out on Friday to go see Beyonce Friday night and flew back Saturday morning and took my kid to wherever he had to go Saturday night. Like I do things by myself. I don't have any problem. I am a fully functioning adult. I do not need anybody aside of my niece to help me with my makeup to hold my hand, right? I got it. I'm good. But there are moments where I have been sitting there and I'm just like, this would be nicer with a person that I enjoy their company.
Now, this is the stage that I was going through when I moved to Macon, but I feel like I needed that to isolate myself to see who would come for me. Because I feel like I go out of my way for everybody else. So I want to see who would come for me when I lived out there. And that is the same friend group and people that I still associate with to this day. Because I felt like I just needed my circle a clean sweep. Because I just felt like I'm always going. I mean, you see every event our family has, I'm there. Like,
but listen,
I just want to get there. Like,
but you see me too.
Yeah.
You see me, and then guess what? And I picking them up on the house. So it's the children are like, my kids be like, are you gonna come home?
Are you really going there?
Are you gonna come take care of us? You're gonna feed me today? And I'm like, you're big. You know, like put some noodles. Put some noodles on stove. Hey, in the door, like you got it. Don't you work someplace? You got a job.
Yeah, bring home. Just bring it home.
Bring it home. So it's very much so like that whole thing, and I think that the more that I do have, so this is to go back to your question, about how long is too long or how long is too much to be dating or whatever.
Right now, I say 3 years because I'm gonna tell you, I want my last name dropped and I want my ex cracked. You know, like time is ticking.
Yeah, see,
I want it in that order. Name. So I have the same name as my kids. You know, let's get it.
And that is listen. That's
but I move much faster than like currents.
But you know what happens? But the thing is that while you might move faster, are y'all still on the same page? So that's the interesting thing.
On the same page, which is crazy to me. But
your book might be shorter. Yes. So this is the thing. So this is the thing. You are Cliff Notes.
That's correct.
And he is a textbook.
No.
Right?
Yes.
Bruh. I don't need the Cliff Notes of like the Scarlet Letter. I read it. I know what happens at the end. Like wrap it up.
Literally, like okay, we already know.
Today, listen. If page 500 of your book, like War and Peace, is a long ass book. If page 500 of yours and page 37 of mine are the exact same, let's get it.
I'm like, so do we meet at page 100?
No, let's get it on page 37.
100. Like, how fast can you read?
Like, do you like? Yeah. Are you like this side of the wall? Y'all read? Do you read like them? Or do you read like the people with? I'm just asking. I need to
know. I'll test it tonight because.
Yeah, you know what happened? Come here. Let me hand you
I
this
need to
book.
know.
I feel like 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather, where he's just like, if you can read one page of this Harry Potter book, I'll donate $50,000. Like that's how I feel.
Say y'all ran my sister's baby shower because Uncle Steven was like, you to read it. Insider. Y'all will never know that. But,
so that's the conversation, right?
This is why our conversations on the phone be lasting like 5-6 hours, and that's why I brought her for episode 2, because we can talk
all day. But that becomes like the whole thing. It's like if because if you're reading the Cliff Notes to like Wuthering Heights and he's reading War and Peace as a novel, we might be on the same page because there's some of the same words.
Yeah.
But we're not on the same page because we're not on the same, like, we're not going to get to the same journey.
I feel like we're on the same journey. I just feel like he is walking on the side of his horse and I'm on the horse. Like,
yeah. Let's go.
And he's like, all right now.
Come on. Like, but the thing is, too, is that, what are you afraid of?
I'm not. Oh.
Not what are you afraid of?
Not me.
You got it. It's got to be, because then if that's the case, if he's leading the horse,
he is, and I am following.
Listen, and you're cool with it,
and I am trotting.
Listen,
instead of galloping,
then that makes that so much easier.
It does,
right? Because
that's how it feels, but it's still something I'm aware of.
Which is why therapy is.
I haven't got to that subject with my therapist yet. We're discussing the other things.
Listen, because that's a lot too, and that's a lot to then turn around here and present. And you know, like it is and it isn't. Like it's to turn around and present to somebody, whatever. Again, I think it's because of the fact, like, it works that I'm slightly older.
Meanwhile, she didn't even believe me about my
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, literally, I'm not a jit no more. Yeah, like
you're an auntie cousin.
Literally, I'm old.
So it's one of those things where it's just like, I recognize that where I am in life is I can look at somebody and I could be like, that's cute that you do that thing now, but it's going to get real tiresome. And not like, because there's certain things that like that people do now. There's things that my kids do now, whatever. And I'm just like, God, I love you. For example, your youngest, he whistles. No, you're lying. We're gonna have to cut this episode because that's where I just draw the line. No, doing what? Just playing video games.
No.
Bro,
please don't do that. Don't ever do that again.
Who taught him?
First of all, I can't even whistle. Like, no, it's not happening. Can't whistle. I also couldn't snap. I couldn't snap for a while.
I couldn't do.
Can I do that? It's baby.
It's very baby. It's giving.
Well, this is baby. My snaps are baby, and I just learned that. No, and my hands are gonna turn red. It's like, don't do too much. Look, right. Yeah, I can't whistle.
You know the drunk.
The drunk. We're done.
The brunch.
Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for watching. I saw that. They sent me an email.
Are you not going?
No.
Why?
Why did I buy a ticket?
You need a ticket?
I have other things to pay for.
That's not what my question was.
When is it?
Saturday.
I'll have to film the podcast recording.
Up or down?
At 12.
All this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Therapy. So this is my statement. These are my key takeaways.
Here's our takeaways.
Let me tell you something.
Here's our clip notes.
Here's our clip notes as opposed to the novel. And by the way, I'm also trying to get like my project management certification.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, there's like all these things that I'm
working on. There's a lot of jobs for project management.
I know that.
I learned that from TikTok.
You know what's so weird? I have a whole extra like secondary degree. I know. Don't do that.
Here's our clip notes.
No, we're not going to do that.
There is a timeline on how long to wait at a certain age point.
So listen, these are all the things. So let me tell you. Therapy, find a therapist that works for you. Figure out what it is that you need. Do you need somebody who's going to be more of a collaborative, like, or do you need more of a this, like a feed off of each other? Do you need somebody who's going to tell you, like, tell me your issues? Oh, man, like, you effing up with that. Like, that's not,
yeah,
that thing, dry, you need to figure out, like, who and what you need. But I would highly recommend a therapist. Literally every person on this planet. I am a very big proponent of mental health awareness, more so because of the fact that I've had moments where I have been less than ideally situated. I've told somebody before, like, if I fall asleep and I don't wake up tomorrow, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. That's how I felt before. I've not felt like that in a long time. And so I feel that if you, one, can recognize that, two, can find somebody who can help you navigate those feelings, a therapist, like my kids have, in their world, they have no complaints, or if they do, they're not necessarily voicing them to me all the time. I still send them to their therapist, even if it's just like quarterly check-ins, the same way that we go and get your eyes checked, the same way that you go and get your teeth done. Like you get, like you have an annual visit, even if there's nothing the matter. You're supposed to go to the dentist twice a year, even if you don't have any cavities or anything else, just for someone else to say everything is good to go. You get your eyes checked once a year or so. Same thing. I don't see why we're stopping. Like, it's a head to toe thing. So I don't know why my brain gets skipped. And so therefore, if you have a therapist that you can just check in with, and you're just like, how are you doing? You're just like, no, I'm good.
I feel like people just have the stigmatism on. I mean, that stigma on.
Let me tell you something.
Not stigmatism. That's in your eye.
that's us stigmatism. Yeah, that's us stigmatism.
Okay, they have a stigma on therapy because they feel like if they go to a therapist, they're just labeled crazy.
Crazy. And so this is the thing.
But I'm just like, what's wrong?
All of us are. Because that's my thing too.
I feel like we all have a little switch.
Why y'all act like crazy?
Cut some phones off and
listen,
some things.
I don't understand why crazy is a bad thing. I need sometimes
some things in my past life.
I
won't self-incriminate.
I need people to be, but this is the thing. I need people to be crazy about certain things,
and
right?
Themselves. Be crazy about yourself.
Yeah, I am very, like, especially now as I've gotten older, I am very self-aware. I'm very and there are times where I might be a bit too self-aware, and then I need someone to pull me back because just because I'm super self-aware doesn't mean that I am operating in a way that is beneficial to other people being self-aware, right? So that's one. Therapy. Everybody, please take, like, if you don't have a therapist, go to group therapy. If you don't have a group therapist, have a trusted friend who is not co-signing on your BS. Because I got, listen, for every 3 homegirls that I could call and be like, girl, should I slice this tires? My girls is just like, I got the perfect knife for you.
Literally.
I need a girlfriend who's going to be like, that's not really the best course of action, Natasha. And these are the reasons why. You got to have that balance.
Yeah.
And you have to realize, like, is this person telling you this thing because it's in your best interest? So,
or because they also have vengeance they want to see.
Right, that they're just like, oh, if I can't take it out on him, I can watch you take it out on you. Yeah. So make sure you're having someone to balance it out.
Find yourself if you are a single mom trying to date. Find yourself and love yourself. Date yourself first.
Date yourself, right? So that goes back to that like solo dating. But then also being clear and open enough to then say, boyfriend person I'm dating, and it's hard because the world is full of BS, and I know dating pool got piss in it. Like, I've been swimming in it.
I'm glad I'm out of it. Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to Hinge. We'll get into that on another episode.
I'm in and out of it. We'll get into it. And we will never
discuss that.
And we will never discuss that.
We'll discuss mine on different.
Never discuss that. But you want to be able to say, these are the things that I require. I need to have these moments to myself. I need to have these moments with my friends, chapter sisters, whoever. I need to have these moments with my kids because my kids come first, but I also want to make sure I prioritize my relationship. And especially because the way that I do say, or I do think that the way that I prioritized or attempted to prioritize my relationship when my kids were younger was a little bit of a stepping stone or a foundation for the way that they are with their girlfriends. Because they are very... I think that Miles, I think the first one blew his budget on what they were supposed to spend for Christmas/Valentine's gift. I think that they exceed, and their numbers were like, you could put that towards rent. Like, wait,
okay,
he spent money. Like,
that's sweet.
The second one, it was sweet. And the thing is too is that. So for me, sometimes I look at myself in my failed relationships and I'm like, oh man, like I wish that I had like I was saying, like they're going to have a step pop-up. Like your pop-up is going to be, when I have grandkids, they're going to have a step whoever.
Yes.
And it's going to be a whole thing. But my kids are not just using my failed relationship or relationships and being like, oh, well, I'm just going to be
No, they're looking at it like, okay, we got different perspectives, and
Yeah,
this is
and guess what?
this sport won't work. This
but
sport
you
will
know what
work.
happened? Guess what? Mine are like, we not doing that.
Yeah.
Very, very, very. I told you, my two are very much so like.
Yeah, zero time, which I like around her kids.
They're very so.
Maybe one day y'all will meet them.
That's my.
They're hard to bring over here.
Yeah, because they're just like, that's stupid. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Stupid. That's stupid. I thought what happened to those who don't hear shall feel.
Yeah, they love to say that.
That's their favorite statement. You know why? Because I've been saying to them since.
My favorite is your belly only no fool. That's the one I got from my dad.
You don't have.
And that's why I'm so greedy.
Somebody else said the cow who don't heed belongs to the butcher.
Oh,
like that.
Okay, I like that one.
You hear that?
But no, I know my belly only no fool because they be like, I don't want. You don't tell me what you don't want. Eat. Listen, so you don't die. So you don't heal over.
Listen, so those who don't hear shall feel.
Yeah, when I say we're such a Caribbean bitch.
Very Caribbean. So that's the whole thing. So like, you know, when you're dating, be intentional about your dating. And I know it sucks. Dating pool has piss in it. You're gonna end up with, but if you can't sugarcoat what you want and then expect to get anything else from it, right? If you sit up here and you're just like, oh, I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. Listen, I told that man, I said, I don't want to do nothing else. After I get the secondary degree, after I finish up what I got to do for the secondary degree, I want to sit in the house and I want to look for my big meal. I want to go ahead and make lunches and cut sandwiches into quarters. I want to go ahead and maybe sometimes wash your socks for you. But maybe sometimes, but I want you to put them in the basket. And I was hiring a maid, and I was lying to him about that.
You told me that.
Lying to him was like sneaking a lady in and sneaking a lady out. But this is I want to be a stay-at-home mom, and I want to be your girlfriend, and I want to be somebody's aunt, and I want to be somebody's daughter, and I want to be somebody's granddaughter, and I want and need to be these things. And he was just like, oh, okay, cool. And to then go to the dating solo thing, I was so comfortable with him or whoever the him is walking away and being like, I can't meet, I can't match, I can't do, I can't give, I can't receive, I can't that. I don't care.
Yeah.
Listen.
I don't care either. Well, that's what they have to learn. I used to care. I used to care.
I have a man, but I don't have a man. And I still went to Beyonce, like, by myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just went to go see DeVal and KK. Absolutely freaking love them. So, Deadass Podcast, they were just here on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was so happy.
She kept calling like, I'm so happy. I can't hear what you're saying.
I can't even, like, I don't even want to talk about how happy seeing DeVal and KK were, like, and the kids. And in part because I see me in them. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm also like, I was so comfortable in myself and with myself to where I was able to go to that by myself and feel wholly satisfied, right? And had I had somebody to come with me, like I said, I wanted to have somebody come with me to the Sade thing on Valentine's Day.
The way you did, though.
But I still had a good time. Mm-hmm. And I did not deny myself the opportunity to go see this cover band, because the last thing I want to do is be like, oh, well, I was waiting on the perfect opportunity or the perfect person. So it's like, and then I miss it, right? And I'm gonna, like, I tell people all the time, like, one of my favorite Jay-Z songs is like Young Forever. Mm. And that's because of the fact that I say that all the time. I will be forever young. When people talk about me, they're going to talk about the fact that I flew across the country to go and see B or whatever on September 1st of 2023. They will say that. They'll be like, yo, like, my friend is crazy. Like, my aunt is crazy. My girl is crazy. My mom is crazy. She did this thing. I'm always going to be memorialized in this.
But I'm the same way. I feel like I am. What I feel like is that I'm a reincarnation of all of my aunts just in one, with minus the kids, right? So I just feel like we are all sharing a personality, minus the kids for me. So like
it's easier for you too because you're the oldest.
Yes.
You have sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have sense.
No, but listen. But this is the thing too, though, that I also say, because like my oldest before was just like, oh, I'm gonna go. Like he was dating somebody. He was like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get married. Like I'm gonna graduate high school. I'm gonna go into the military and I'm gonna get married. And I'm just like,
That was my plan.
Okay, listen. Okay, what's the worst that comes out of that? You have chosen a path.
Divorce.
Listen.
That's it.
Divorce. You have chosen a path that you feel in this moment is going to be best for you and your situation, right? Again, we just went to a vow renewal for people younger than me. A 20-year vow renewal for somebody younger than me.
Yeah.
What's the worst that comes from that? It's two.
Work.
It's three. It's three options. It's literally it's divorce, it's death, or it's dedication. It's these three things that we get from that: divorce, death, or dedication. Right? So, divorce. What does that make you? Nothing.
Nothing. Single again.
Single again. I'm single again. Back on the prowl.
See, I like to make you thought it was birthday. Of course I know. Because I'm old. Because she's old. Okay.
Right? So guess what? So like it's divorce, right? It's death. And that ain't necessarily a bad thing because now I'm just like, oh, you're not here anymore. And now I feel good about myself because I'm just like...
When people hear that, where they don't believe me. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah. Like, how would you know? I don't look... Like, what is divorce look like?
What does it look like?
It doesn't
you know what I'm saying?
Like
I've been proposed to twice and then like not gotten married. Like, what is it?
Oh, no, I've gotten married and never been proposed to. Isn't that crazy? We'll talk about that later. Can we wrap this up? Like, let's wrap this up.
And then the dedication. And then you looking at 5, 10, 20, 30 years down the line. And if it's today, if it's tomorrow, if it's whatever, it doesn't matter because there isn't necessarily a timeline for it, which goes back to the whole solo dating. Like, I am going to consciously choose me. It goes back to the whole, like, me having a therapist and my therapist looking at me and saying, you are struggling and I'm going to pull you off of work. I'm going to allow you to consciously choose you. So I think that the more that people, in particular Black women, say to ourselves, like, I am making these choices that are going to be in my best interest, it makes it easier for the rest of us to then say, like, I don't feel bad about telling people that I had to be pulled out of my job from short-term disability. I don't, because staying there in particular during that time period, I know that I could not have sat here today and had any type of meaningful conversation. I could not have been as supportive and as loving and as all of that for that situation on that side.
Yeah.
I could not have done it because of the struggles that I was dealing with.
You can't pour that much into
I cannot pour into, listen.
Being able to pour into yourself.
You cannot pour from an empty cup.
You
cannot pour from an empty cup though. Like I can't give you what I don't have. Right? So if I'm not filling myself up, if I'm not flying to Beyonce solo, if I'm not going to go see this cover band by myself, if I'm not admitting that I need help, if I'm not taking my medication, if I'm not laughing and joking and being playful with you about like my mental health struggles or my parenting skills or lack thereof or my whatever, how can I give to you to then say like, how do I keep you replenished, right? How do I keep you like happy and joking, laughing and full or tipsy, or I can't give you any type of, I can't give you a tipsy talk if I don't have nothing of my own to give to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if I don't speak on my experiences, you don't know the pitfalls to avoid.
That's correct.
And that's the reason why I'm sitting here. Like, I can sit here and be like, that, been there, done that, got a t-shirt, 2 t-shirts, right?
Really?
Because I've already been there. But you don't ever know if you're not willing to say to somebody like, hey, I got a question.
That's correct.
Like, hey, I don't really understand this. Or I think that this makes sense, but maybe it doesn't. Like, my idea of how timetables and telling time works is different than how somebody else's timetable works.
What time is it right now?
It's 10:26.
No way.
10:26. We've been talking for like an hour.
No way.
Yeah.
The way I'm going to have to edit this. Like,
make it into 2 sections. Be like,
no,
this is part. I don't know how this works.
It has to be one long. It's a podcast. It has to.
I don't know how podcast works, Mama.
Duration. That's what I'm like. Let's
also
just,
old lady. I don't know how. Podcast
okay,
works.
we're gonna end this now, right? Remember, it's like on scratchy it. Chug it.
Wait, hold on.
Chug it. Chug it.
This is
chug it.
This is Tipsy Talk. That's Serena. Motivated Tasha. I don't know what my other thing
Motivated Tasha is your name.
Yeah, and Tasha the Ace.
What is that?
I'm an ace.
Like okay, yes. I like it.
Yeah. So when I comment on your videos, it's like I think it says like Tasha the Ace 1913.
Okay.
And but yeah, subscribe because I don't have a channel. What is this gonna be on?
YouTube.
I don't have a YouTube channel, but I'm working on it.
You're gonna be on Instagram as well, so I was happy.
I am on Instagram. You can tag me on Instagram. And
you want the whole thing won't be on Instagram, but like the segment, you don't have the Instagram.
This is Tipsy Talk, episode 2, with That's Serena. Hence the title, hence the name. Corny. I know.
Stewart Gang.
That's just
how we do
here.
Period. You already know the vibe.
Thank you guys for joining us. We are going to definitely edit all of this out.
No, we're not editing anything out.
All of it.
Nope. Bye, y'all.